send it to me so I can have it ready.
When I have what?
When you have the whole meeting recorded, send it to
I
me
mean,
so I can have it.
it's already on YouTube.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. And by the way, I'm trying today the AI companion, and also on Zoom, there is now a special viewer on Zoom where automatically it divides into sections. So for your purposes, Alfredo, it would be much easier for you to watch that because it's also transcribing what we're saying, and you can skip easily from one item to the other.
I'm not trusting this AI technology right now because there's a lot of things that can be, you know, like
No, but it's basically
confusing and tergiverse.
if you need it for the minutes, I'm saying it's going to be much easier for you to use that.
I'm just sitting my ass here on the chair for about 2 hours trying to digest everything. You know,
If you
I
want
will
to
do
do it in 2
old
hours, do it in
school.
2 hours. I'm giving you an option to do it in 10 minutes. It's up to you.
No, you know. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready? We got calling the meeting to order. It is 6:05. We have a quorum of 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the 5. I believe Diana's stuck somewhere in between Wynwood and here, and it might take her a while to get back home. But we do have a quorum. And then minutes from the meeting, last week's meeting that Alfredo sent around. I read those. I think those are good. I don't have anything to add or to take away. So I make a motion to approve the minutes. Anyone second?
Yeah, I second.
Okay, so we're good on that.
Wow, what happened? You didn't
I
approve?
didn't have time to read it. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
It's been very crazy 2 days, but yeah. I trust the board.
I mean, we can postpone it to next week. It's not a big deal. The minutes for last week. I mean, we are doing, you know, a weekly meeting and going on the roofs and taking care of, I mean, it's understandable. I mean, so I mean, if
if you don't mind, I would.
We don't need to actually do that. So it's 30 minutes of recording and it's already there and it's all, you know, like simple. That there's no major thing that we can postpone.
Okay, all right.
Just been doing my work and I need to, you know, that work to be respected.
It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with respect.
Well, okay.
Further.
Well.
Yeah, no, and you put together thorough minutes, so that is appreciated, Alfredo.
Thank you.
And you know, that provides clarity.
I do not appreciate the tone. I do not.
Well, it's up to you.
So what do we say? Postpone it so everyone can read it? We do that?
That was my suggestion, but I guess he took an offense on that he's doing hard work.
Yeah, I do took an offense. I do took an offense, and I think that we shouldn't actually get this practice because, you know, I actually did my best to get it, you know, like with anticipation, and I'm actually, you know, doing a lot of stuff together. So I mean, this is a matter of.
Are you going to tell Joao that you're doing a lot of stuff?
Of course.
Yeah, but Alfredo, I'm doing a lot of stuff too. I didn't have time to read. I've been doing a ton of things for the HOA. I didn't have time to read. If you take it as an offensive to take it to next week, then we vote this one. But I would like you to reconsider that, because if you want to tell me what I did in the last days, yesterday, today,
I don't want to measure. I don't want to measure what you have done and what I have done, because that's no point of comparison. What I'm saying is that
is not the point.
Probably everybody have time, you know, to read.
Alfredo, that is not the point.
Okay.
I usually have the time to read. But
I know,
I
and I
didn't have time to read this week. Yes, and I usually give you comments and inputs.
Can we move on the important aspect of what we need to do?
This is
on the
important.
construction?
So would you
Okay.
reconsider the possibility of having this decision next week without getting offended?
How many times we're reconsidering this? Every time it's the same reconsideration, Joao.
It's
And I
not. It's
think
like the
that
second. It's the
for
second
me to
time.
reconsider your point, it's not the time.
Alfredo. It's the second time.
It
How many
is.
meetings we have until now? We are in the month of June. It's the second time we are reconsidering. Second time. And we've been having meetings every week.
And how
So
many
please
times the
don't
times
exaggerate.
before? Well, I'm trying
Sorry?
to be, on top of everything.
But
So
okay, whatever the board decides.
You can continue
Yeah.
being on top of everything. One doesn't take from the other. So you continue doing your job, and whenever we have a chance to read it this week, we'll read it, and then next week we'll vote for it. Let's move on now. So we postponed it. We're postponing the minutes for next week.
Okay, next was roof update. We've sent through all of our input to the lawyer. He said he will get us final revision back this Friday. If I was to say, honestly, I've been a little frustrated it's taken this long, not necessarily from anyone here. I think what I was expecting, and this is just me talking with the board, what I was expecting was a quicker turnaround from the lawyer. But I think in him doing his due diligence, I think it's playing the safe card in getting things right the first time. But all that to say is we as a board should be getting the contract back from him this Friday that we forward to them. Let me ask you this. My opinion is, unless there's something glaringly missing, like substantively core to the project missing, that we obviously we read it through, but if there's minor preferences that we would prefer this or that we express those to each other, and then we decide if that's critical to include or not include. My position is we get this as quickly as possible to the roofer so the roofer can get started without sacrificing quality. And I know that is asking a lot considering everything going on, but if we can read through that as soon as we get it and we agree as a board that it's good and that it covers us, and that the major things are there, that we then send that as quickly as possible onto the roofer. Do you understand the premise of that? There'll always be ways we can say things differently. There'll always be ways that we can add things or subtract things, but if it doesn't structurally change the contract, I suggest we send it as quickly as possible.
Completely
Yeah.
agree. Completely
course.
agree.
Time is our enemy right now.
Yeah. And
it's
the
always
other thing,
been the enemy. But for that, I really think that we have the time, we have the resources, and we have all what it took in order for us to put a comprehensive, questionnaire that needs to basically, set the tone and set the narrative for the contractor. I think that nothing will actually have to cut, actually have to, expedite or hurry in order to, make sure that we are, on top of things. I think that we wait a lot. We actually did our due diligence. We actually had the contractor. We need to make sure that the work that we're gonna do, it's in commensurable measure with what we actually, set clearly on the specifications and so forth. So I think that if we have that clear with the contractor and we don't have any unknown situation, from the ones that we're gonna find out later, I think that the clearer we have more with the contractor, the better. Because we don't want to actually say, oh, well, you know, you didn't tell me that from the beginning, this is gonna be another change order and so forth. I think that we need to, at this point, everything that we clarify, we need to set it right up front without being shy, without being so afraid that the contractor is gonna leave. Because for that amount of money, I'm pretty sure that it's not gonna go away. So he's not doing us a favor. And I think that our position is that we need to tell the contractor what we want as a community. You know what the contractor wants us to do, because they are going to build it and they're gonna leave. We are going to be the ones looking at that all the time. So we need to make sure that we make all our comments and all our premises are clear and understood by the contractor.
Yeah, and hopefully,
No cutting corners, no cutting corners, because that's
Right.
exactly what we arrived to this because we cut corners.
and so hopefully the lawyer captures our input and you know, as we get that, then we read through that as quickly as we can, ideally over the weekend, and we send it off. I send it off if we've all weighed in and read through it. That if it's good, then I send it over the weekend. That's what I'm aiming for. Again, not knowing what is written in there, but I'm going out from the perspective that he's captured what our input is and that it's in there somehow, and then we can read through it, approve it, and send it. So yeah, all we need to do is get through this week of torrential rain. I want to, you know, through this meeting, applaud all of you who are there. I apologize I'm not there, but I applaud all of you who've been stepping up and going above and beyond to help the community. Obviously, it's not ideal for anyone, and we know what we need to do, and we are working through that process. And, you know, I agree with Alfredo. We don't want to cut corners, but we also want to move as fast as we can. And so I know by people going to Harbor Freight, getting extra pumps, going into different homes, talking to people, it's been very busy. And so I just want to applaud all of you for stepping up. It has not been easy, and you've done amazing work. So thank you all.
And thank you too.
Let me ask, while I have you all here, the question that Alan posed to, I believe it was to me, I forget which setting it was in terms of the bond. Do you guys want me to go already and ask? I was going to ask at the time that we send the contract.
In terms of that, I would propose a side conversation to feel the reaction. Okay, it's for. I would not, and for me, this is not cutting corners, and I don't believe we got to this situation because the previous board cut corners. I think it was a completely different reason. What I believe here is that we are not cutting corners if we are flexible in the way we discuss the topics. So we need to understand what is the reaction on the other side and understand where we have more and less negotiation power. Everywhere I go, we got 4 proposals to do the roofs. We didn't get 10, like we were probably at a certain point expecting. I think there's a shortage on the supply. There's not a shortage on the demand, and we need to be very careful addressing the conversations with the future roofer in terms of understanding exactly what is needed and what can be negotiated. And so I would strongly suggest a friendly conversation on the side. Not by writing or anything, just trying to understand what is the position of the contractor on that.
Joao, it is really concerning because you are telling me, in other words, that the request for proposal, the 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 work that we actually spend and the frame that we actually structure in order for us to not make the same mistake from the past, we are going to override in a friendly conversation. I think that
Did I
was
say that?
completely
Did I say
okay,
that?
but
Or or
okay,
you're just
no,
lying
Joao,
about what I'm saying?
what I'm trying to tell
Did I
you
say
is that
that?
the
Alfredo,
bond,
did I say that? I'm
the
just asking
RSP
you
says
a
that
yes or
the,
no. Did I say that?
I'm sorry?
You
You're
said, you
saying to
started
put
your
that
sentence.
the bond is not a questionable situation. That was already said on the RSP. Is that correct or not, Joao? It was in the process, right?
Look,
That
let
was
me tell
what
you, there
we
were several
request the
things. You made me a
A305.
question. You made me a question. I'm going to answer to you, Alfredo. What
Okay.
I'm saying is that everything that was in the RFP was presented to the roofers, and the roofers have the possibility to discuss each one of these items. If you ask me if the bond is a deal breaker, I will tell you immediately, no, for me, the bond is not a deal breaker. Before that, you're telling me that I'm putting everything at risk, that I'm destroying all the RFP, etc. I think once again, you're exaggerating. What I'm trying to tell Robert is that in the process of the negotiation to close this deal, we need to be flexible. And if we go once again with that type of attitude, we're going to lose the contractor like we lose the property manager. And as a member of this board, I'm not ready for that. So I'm recommending and aligning with Robert that we need to be flexible and adult when we talk with the contractor and understanding what are the points we can in fact negotiate and what are the ones that are going to be deal breakers. And the deal breakers, to be very careful with that. And this is what
Secure
I'm
the
saying.
community,
Don't try to
the secure the community without a bond. This is not a deal breaker as you call it. I think that what we need to actually make
I don't know.
a clear understanding
It's
that
not
we
it's
need to
not on
be
your side,
protecting with
Alfredo.
it.
It's not on your side. The deal break can be on the side of the roofer. Imagine that the roofer said, I'm not going to move into a bond. I already heard in a previous meeting that he's not ready to do a bond. And that would be a deal break.
That was not the
So
question that we asked from the very beginning on the RSP, because there was clearly questioned that all the contractors needed to have a bond because of the experience that we have on the past, because everything is fine and everything is happy before you sign the contract. After you sign the contract is when we have the other phase. And this is the part that we need to be protected from. So this is my recommendation. And I think that the majority of the community also wanted to be safe, because we already learned a hard lesson. We don't want to, learn it again. So
Okay,
who is going to protect us? What other instruments do we have legally to be protected through all the situations that seems to be difficult to overcome legally? So tell me exactly what other secure possibility we're gonna have with this contract.
okay. So let me put to you a different scenario. So, the roofer has a bond, but he's already tied up on those bonds with 3 or 4 other jobs. And maybe when he do the RFP, he had room for the bond, but we still didn't sign a contract with him. So for him, he still doesn't have this job, and he got another contract that he signed that has a bond. So
That's what happened.
yeah. So if he
That
comes
is
back
a
and says,
question of the insurance company, not for us. He
okay,
needs, if he's
but
applying for
please
a new job, he
let me
needs to have
finish.
insurance bond.
But let me please finish. If he comes back and says, hey, you know what, it's not that I don't want, but just I cannot overextend the bond that I have. So you either have to wait until I finish one job and then I can put the bond, or we can continue without the bond. So at that point, you are suggesting to stop, not do anything, and move on to a different contractor?
So that means that we are not
Start
the
again?
priority. We are not the priority. So we need to actually, bend over and then accommodate. Is that
But
the
but this
position that
is
we're
but this
taking?
is but
Sorry,
this
it's
is
1.2 million of dollars. It's not like 500,000. It's not 700,000.
okay.
I mean, the approach is completely far.
Regardless, it's not a decision we need to take right now. Right now, we're having an hypothetical conversation.
It's not
So
an
let's just
hypothetical
ask the
because it was
question.
already set on a stone from the very beginning, from where we started the process since January. And I clearly says on many emails, we need to have protection.
If you ask me if I would prefer to move on with the roofer to start in a week or 2 weeks the work, or not and start all over again because of the bond. My answer would be, let's move on with the roofs. And I think that this is the feeling that that the majority of the board has, and the majority of the condominium of the members of the owners.
No, don't include the
don't-
majority. This is
No,
your
you included it.
decision.
You
It's gonna
included
be
it.
the majority. It's gonna be a majority.
You
I'm
included
not
it, so
going to
this is what I'm
endorse that.
saying. Are you
Definitely, I'm
included?
not going to.
Excuse
And
me?
I'm clear on that.
Okay, but this is why there's democracy and there's a majority. So let's move on.
And I agree with that, and I think really to circle back to Joao's point, I can have a conversation and, if you will, use tentacles to feel what are the possibilities for them to increase their threshold or not, or what does that look like? Is that difficult? Is that impossible, without making any pressure
They
point?
should, because this is a new job.
Well, and
for them.
I get the principle of it, but where we are at, it's not hypothetical, but it's hypothetical to make a decision right now. So what I'll do is I'll figure out a way to talk to them and discuss this without making it a deal breaker from our side, and just see where they're at and how we can move forward in that. And then I can circle back with the board. So I got out of my minutes. What's the next topic?
It's not in the minutes. I just want to tell you, Robert, I sent you part of the answers to Marian regarding Unit 25. Alfredo sent you another email. I think it's still not complete. Some of the points I still don't understand what the lender wants.
Yeah, inspection. If they
Why
refer
they need
to
inspections?
if they refer to inspection of Unit 25, this is something that the buyer does.
Yeah,
So that
I think
has
it's
nothing to do with that. I
Yeah,
think that maybe they're asking about inspections, maybe about the roofs or something like that. But
or the 50 years.
but I'm not sure that we need. But I'm not sure. And the 50 years is in process. So I think we should tell them, listen, the roof is in process, and the 50-year inspection is in process. We don't have anything to share at this moment.
And I would also highlight, Robert, and I already said it in the chat, that we are answering almost in 24 hours, 48 hours. I never saw Reward Point answering so fast. So because she looks like we are taking too much time to answer. She gets the answers very fast.
It took me 5 months to close.
Yeah, my own closing was delayed multiple times and cost me nearly $10,000.
Yeah. So
So I say that not to say that that's okay or that that's what we're doing. I agree with
we are answering in 24.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with your point, Joao, that we are
But why
answering.
this lender is asking for so much information? I mean, this is a little bit too much and
they're all-
completely out of context, because the inspection is supposed to be for the unit itself, not for the whole report of the whole community.
I don't know.
I
So
forward all
we'll
this
try to give
information,
our-
but I don't think this is relevant, and you should.
I'm reading that
check
email
with
now.
them.
So approved budget, that's easy.
I already sent you.
Financials.
I sent you also the April's. They want the full. I believe we already sent January to April. I sent you several ones from April.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we have that also.
2B, the loan with Valley Bank, I just say that's for the roof project. That's straightforward.
Yes, I wrote that in my email. Yes,
Okay.
that is straightforward. In terms of reserves, no, any of the operating account right now, from what we've been informed, they are not allocated to reserves. So no, they are just operating funds.
Okay, that's easy. Provide most recent inspection report. Yeah, I think that's dealing with the roofs. That's more like the city that came and sort of looked at the progress of the mansards. That has nothing to do with.
Yeah, Or we send the NV5, the forensic report they did on the roofs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that could be the good solution.
Yeah,
And then documentation for special assessments, roof repairs, inspections. Yeah, that's being worked on right now. So I can just say that that's under review by our legal team right now. So we don't have the final version.
yes, yes.
And
And
then
you already, for the minutes, you already mentioned in the interview you had with the buyer that there is a special assessment coming in, et cetera. So the buyer has been informed, and you know.
yeah, and when Alan and I both talked with him, he was a good guy. He was surprised to hear that there's another special assessment coming, but that's not the responsibility of the board. But we made clear to that owner that she needed to let him know about that coming up. And then the point number 5, the pending elements, legal aspect. Do you want me to send what we just received?
I probably a call to Avi, but we received that legal case. From one side, there's a legal case. For the other side is 1 to 10, what we're gonna do. So at the end of the day, it is not as big.
Is the rest of the board fine if I send that?
So you want to ask Avi about?
I think so. A 5-minute call just to ask, okay, so we are being asked if there's any litigation. We have now received these. Can we send it to?
You can just send him an email.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
an email.
yeah.
That's an email question.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Then I'll do that after this meeting. To him, if I get the answer right away, then I either include it or not include it and send the rest of the stuff with the answers and copy the board.
Perfect. Thank you.
But I'll only send it after I get the answer from him. Since it's 6:30 there, that lender's not going to be doing anything tonight anyway. But I'll have it ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, other than that, is there anything else we need to discuss?
So basically just a quick roof update. So today I was on the roof of number 2. There's a lot of water, and I sent you guys the video. The main puddle, the biggest puddle, is on top of unit 19 and unit 18. It's right on top of Jane's house, I think. It's huge. So what's happening is I put 2 pumps there. One in that puddle and one is on top of Diana's unit, which is another puddle. And it's just that the water there's so much water, so the pump is not, catching up with so much rain that's coming down. And I think it gets to a level that it goes on top of the holes, for the vents and all that. And this is why so many people are having now problem with the vents. I know for a fact that on top of my roof, because I did a drone recording a few months ago, it's a lot of water. And this is why unit 35, I think it is, also probably went up so much that it's going into the any holes, the AC vents, all the washer and dryer, the dryer vents, and so on. So that's the situation. Just that the water is not going out of the roofs soon enough. So we might need to get some, put more pumps. And by the way, I John found the pumps on the roofs, and I found today 3 pumps on the roof number 2. These are the pumps that the previous roofer put. and they're good pumps, but they're not automatic. So if nobody connects them to the electricity, I mean, it's insane. So they just put pumps there, not connected to the electricity, and they don't never activate. I mean, they don't activate unless you physically connect it to the electricity. So the pumps we installed now are automatic. So once the gets to 2 inch, it kicks in and starts pumping.
Question on that, should we buy like more 2 or 3 and put one here on building 4 and another one on building 2 and another one on building 3? Because they are not as expensive
Yeah, we might as well.
things. And any remediation is 10 times the cost of one of these. So
That is also what I needed to say. Remediation. There's any remediation for tomorrow because unit 35, it's very, 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 like flooded. We have unit 18, unit 19, unit 37, 27. Yeah, 19. It's Esther.
I just spoke with Esther. She said that there's no water intrusion.
She say that?
I
Okay,
spoke to her about
she sent
an
me a
hour and a
test.
half ago.
Okay. So
I think they can only come when the water is over.
Marcelo.
Yeah,
And so
remediation companies will only come after the fact.
After the
Yeah.
fact. So we cannot bring them tomorrow to dry when still water is coming in.
I think
And tomorrow
Okay,
and
so what
tomorrow
will
it's
be
gonna rain more.
what will be the plan of action? So when they contact me, because for sure they are not gonna contact you in Holland, they are not gonna contact Joao, they're gonna contact probably Alan or myself.
Alfred, once
So-
again, Jenny contacted me. I went to the House of Lords. So you're talking things.
Jenny Lou also called me and we have a long conversation.
Yeah,
So
but I didn't say that she didn't
what
call
we need
me.
to do is
You were
just
you
get
were
an
telling
action
that people
plan.
didn't call.
Joao, what I need to do is an action plan. I don't need
So
to
the
have
action plan.
No, I need you to
Any
stop
action
saying things that
plan.
are not true. Sorry.
Okay.
So the action plan is to try to
Buy
remove
more
water
pumps.
from the roofs. So we need to get more pumps and put more pumps on all the roofs.
Okay.
So I would say
and who's gonna clean everything that is dropping inside? Because you need to go to unit 35.
Each unit owner will have to clean what's happening in their home. I also have water intrusion in my home, and I'm cleaning it. So there's nothing else that we can do. Okay, we are volunteers. We are not the people are going to go and clean houses. We are trying to help everybody. So the action plan is putting more pumps on the roofs. We need at least 2 pumps per roof. Building 4, I would say maybe 3 pumps. So we already have 2 pumps on building 2. We can also use the two old pumps that the previous roofer left. I can install them and have a cable to some units balcony, and whenever it rains, it's their responsibility to connect it to the electricity so the pump starts working. And then so that's the only solution I see for now, just pumping water out so it doesn't get to a level where it starts going through the scabers.
How about fence?
Excuse me?
How about fence?
Fence? What do you mean fence?
To dry out.
Fence? What do you mean fence? Can you explain?
Fence.
That can
Air
only
fence.
happen after
what you
the
were
rain.
actually looking for.
Oh, a
By the
fan,
way,
okay.
you took the fence and you give it to whom? To Ronald?
The fan right now is in Laura's house.
Okay. So we need, a few of those, at least for the ones that have the worst case scenario.
We can buy a few fans as well. Each fan is about $100. We can buy some fans, but the fans, if you still have water, the fans are just gonna, push the water. So I'm not sure how a fan is going to really help dry a unit. The fan helps
they're gonna
to dry
help
the wall, huh? I mean, I'm not an expert in water remediation, but
Yeah, you're right.
logic suggests
that's exactly what we paid before, right?
What?
After the rain,
this remediation after the rain, yes.
On the pumps, are you looking at what's the gallons per hour that they're pumping?
I don't have the box here, but I
Okay,
can check.
but
I can
it's-
check.
But
I
it's
mean, the
pretty
rain
thick.
is gonna stop. We're going to actually, like probably need, if the situation, weather-wise is coming, like again, similar next week. So, but inside, we need to have some remediation, some airflow in order to dry the some of the spaces. The cabinet on unit 35, it's completely, like smelling, like it's
Okay, so if
mildew.
unit 35 is in bad situation, maybe for now, if it's urgent, we can take, the one that is in Laura's house and put it there. I mean, but she's not gonna
Where
be
was
happy
the
about it.
water coming in on 35?
It was coming, as I said, everywhere, all the areas, front and back. And I
Right.
checked,
Yes.
and it wasn't the vent. That was the most curious things. She told me that she have 2 years ago, she have some roof repair, that probably unit number 1 might be, like very, very aware of it. So the repair apparently didn't work, and they need to, be checked out again.
So I
probably
would suggest our immediate action plan is to get a couple pumps up on 4 above 35. And Alan, you had some as well. Is there like a wall between, on the roof between
No,
your part of the building and the other part of the
No.
building that goes all the
No.
way across?
yes.
yes, a
Um,
continuous roof.
but 36 did not have anything that we know of. It's only 35.
We didn't hear from 36. And
Okay.
and in your unit, you don't have an intrusion?
No.
Okay. So,
So if that water is concentrating there,
well, the water is all over. It's also on top of your house, on top of Maria's house, on top of my house. It's all over. Just that they find a place to go in, and I guess
Yeah.
that was the weakest link.
and the pumps that Joao went and got, that's auto turn on, right? It gets to a
Yeah.
level that turns on. And so what we would need is probably 2 to 3 more pumps, and then that also means 2 to 3 more hoses, right?
Yeah. We have a
get
few.
that.
Yeah.
What
And
time
I-
Harbor Freight closes? Is like Home Depot? Let me see. Because
Yeah,
I,
but right now,
as soon as I get the
but
car,
right now you cannot leave the condominium. 163rd Street is completely cut.
Yeah.
Vanessa is trying to get an Uber from Aventura to here
Even
since
my
5
mother
o'clock.
is strapped on on traffic.
Yeah.
What I suggest, we need to buy some plastic to, offer to cover, like some of the furniture and areas to unit owners. We need at least 2 fans, and whatever, pumps, you wanna get, get some of them.
Okay.
But I
But
think that
again,
now interiors is very important, because interiors are damaging, and we don't want to be liable for that.
we are not liable for that. I mean, just the drywalls, of course. Okay, so today I'm not gonna go, because I mean, not now at least, because again, here Vanessa's asking me, can I go pick her up? And she's since 5 o'clock waiting for an Uber, and she's a mile away from here. She's in Fresh Market. That's the situation. She cannot get an Uber. So I'll get a few fans from Arbor Freight tomorrow, or if I can, I don't know until what time they open.
Are you getting those Home Depot?
In Harbor Freight, we can also get it in Home Depot, either whatever we can. And pumps and water pumps. So water pumps, we need 3 for building 4. I would say 3 for building, at least 2 for building 1. So it's 5. 1 more for building 3. So we need like 6 pumps.
the Harbor Freight, at least in the shelves, they didn't have so many, but maybe they have it in the warehouse. I don't know. You need 3 for the building 1?
We need what?
You mentioned 3 for building 1.
Well, 3 for building 4. Building 1, there's no many. There's only 1 or 2
Okay,
intrusions. So I would
okay,
say
3 for
maybe
building 4. Okay, so
1 or 2 for
4, 5.
building 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
there's a lower fan, whatever you want to call it, air mover, quarter horsepower air mover. That's $115 at Home Depot. The larger industrial one goes quickly up to $269.
Can we rent it out?
We might. The one, Zhao, the one that you bought cost how much? Here, Diana is coming in.
Let me see.
I think it was $150.
Why is the need
So
to buy it? So can we rent it out?
The ones I bought is $149.99 each one of them plus taxes.
and
So-
how much water do they pump? Do you have the information?
Let me
I
see.
sent you the
Not
link,
in the
no?
receipt. Yeah, you sent me the link. Let me see.
Because maybe it's better to buy the one for $250, but if it pumps much more, then we might get one instead of 2 of the other one.
This one already
Trying to find the
there.
link.
Where is it? On the link, but I'm not finding.
Isn't it better to rent the fans?
We can check. Nobody's against renting the fans. It's just that fans are actually cheap. Fans are $100. Renting is going to be more expensive. After 2 days, 3 days, you might as well just have the fan.
Diana, you doing okay?
No, unfortunately, there's a lot more water and it's going to be like an all night thing because it's still dripping. And now it's dripping through my AC, which, there's like a drip pan at the bottom. So if the level gets too high, it turns off the AC, which would be worse because then the humidity gets crazy. Yeah, this is very frustrating. Like it's going to be like an all night picking up water thing,
I would suggest you put in your drip pan some bucket.
That's
or something.
yeah, like I put a bucket. Well, the whole bucket doesn't fit, but I put like a container, to see if it'll fit. But it's almost like sliding down the leg, so it's hard to catch. I'm working on it, but yeah.
Okay.
The one question I did have is, sorry if you already talked about this in your agenda. I saw that the lawyer said that he could have it by Friday, the contract updates.
Mm-hmm.
Is that accurate? Can we try to see if we can expedite him? I understand it's like tomorrow, but I don't know if there's anything that maybe I'll just be attentive of his emails to see if we could move this process along as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did discuss that. I can certainly reach out and say, push it to Thursday or at least early Friday, not end of business Friday. The things, excuse me, the things we discussed was very clear without skipping out on quality. And also, when we all read something, we're going to see, I would word that differently. I would change that. I would say this, I would remove that. But if it doesn't structurally change the outcome, that we move forward with it as quickly as possible.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, Robert. So the one that Joao got is 1,750 gallons per hour.
Okay.
That's a maximum flow. The one that you were looking at is how much?
Sorry, I was talking about a fan when I said that, not the pump.
Okay.
Yeah, you have the description now in the chat, but we can look.
I just opened that. Yeah.
And Diana, make sure with Marcelo that the pump that he put up there, you know, I saw it today and it was
Mhm.
working. But I would say make sure that it's connected.
Yeah, I'll touch base with him right when I get a second here, and I'll knock on his door. I haven't knocked over yet. I've been just
Okay.
cleaning up since then.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys, if we don't have anything further to discuss, I have to go to try to bring my wife back home somehow. I have no idea how.
Yeah, depending on where she is. So I ended up taking an Uber from Wynwood with a coworker, and he lives in Ventura, and he said that he's only like half a mile from my stop. So my stop was first, and it's taken like 30 minutes. So Aventura is really bad if you're going north.
She's in Fresh Market.
Yeah, apparently that's a bad area. So take your time, be very careful.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I know this is a heavy rain and it may not happen like this, but I'm definitely nervous for hurricane season, as I'm sure you guys are as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Diana, do you need something else, like a towels or plastic to cover or a fan to,
I think
help you out to mitigate? Because right now we're trying to, make all ways possible to help every unit owners that have been going through all this
I appreciate that. Yeah, I may
terrific thing.
require a fan because I have some
Okay.
areas that I'm worried that if I don't dry them quickly, they're gonna
Yeah.
mold, like behind the sheetrock and stuff. So I may need a fan if I don't know if that's now I don't have a car either. I took an Uber here, so I can't go get a fan.
At least three, Alan, three fans.
Okay.
If that's possible, let me know.
And plastic to cover,
I
like your
I
furniture.
just wrote plastic as
We,
well.
we can buy, like a huge construction one, and then we cut it and then, like split and give it to anyone who need it.
Feel
Okay.
free to do that. I don't think I need the plastic. I have so little furniture left, honestly. So, so it's okay.
Well, you're minimalistic, so you don't need to worry
Sure.
about it.
I lost a couple in the other time, so yeah. Okay, so just the fan would be super helpful.
Okay.
Thank
All right, guys. I'm gonna have to cut it short. Okay.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.